Turn around, join, and record. We're going live. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you're doing great on this wonderful Tuesday. It's nice and very cool here in Southern California. The team is here working away. From time to time, you may hear a little bit of noise in the background, but please bear with me. On the dyno is a gorgeous CRX. It's an old school one that's done quite a bit, has a bit of a pedigree. Nitrous CRX here getting tuned on an LSB Tech setup with a nice Edelbrock manifold. For those of you old school guys who may remember, that's a nice high flowing unit. And I've been tuning it so far. It's close to 200 wheel horsepower on E85. And hopefully we can do a lot more after I'm done meeting with you and all my friends and family. Destroy Racing, buenos dias to you as well. Greetings. Hello, Darius. Dre, WC is referring to me as Fast Car Human. Thank you so much. Chuck095 on IG. Yo to you as well. Thank you so much. Ashton Campbell, old school supporter, says, how's it going? Happy New Year to you as well. Rollins Kitchens is in the house on IG, courtesy of San Diego. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. La Cachumba Lubritech, thank you for joining as well. Appreciate the kind gesture. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, I have all of you here on the different networks. I have YouTube Live going right now. I have all of you on IG and on TikTok as well. Welcome back. I know you had a bit of a hiatus of 14 hours, but thank you so much for being part of this interaction. This is a show I put together to really give back to this wonderful community that's been so kind to me. Olavo RM is saying, yes, 5 Tech by Honda. Okay, no worries. Hello, Bastien Castillo. Thank you so much for joining. Belgium's in the house, courtesy of Clement Jammer. Thank you so much for joining all the way across the pond. You're about 8 hours ahead of us, so I appreciate you and good evening to you. It's been ages, says Rayan C. Good seeing you, Rayan. Appreciate your presence here as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brian Haggood gave me a badge on TikTok. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My guy says D16EK, and I zoom by your screen name that you are hardcore single cam enthusiast. I appreciate that. Back there are twin cams, but nonetheless, the technology reigns supreme. It's all around the world. Good day to you, our Tech2sday. Thank you so much for joining me. Dave693 just gifted me a second badge. Thank you so much, Dave, on TikTok. Appreciate you. Rose Shopkins 53 says cool stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Have a good time. I just got some plugs, and my good friend Eric, the one I'm pointing to right there, is the one who actually brought the car over. And I got him, and he's putting the plugs in with his good friend. So it's going to be a good afternoon for us here, nonetheless, as soon as I'm done with each and every one of you. Sub Dave got this on IG. Appreciate you. TMC98. Thank you so much for joining. Finally, says Cobalt on TikTok, I suppose the audio is actually noticeably better. I think so. Thank you, Cobalt, fellow engineer, for giving my third gifter badge on TikTok. Appreciate you indeed. Cobalt is a fellow enthusiast, also an EV enthusiast. He's typically on IG, then he's on YouTube, and now he is here on TikTok. Thank you so much. Working on is asking 1.4 Abbott Renegade, who gave me another gifted badge. Thank you so much, sir. On a CRX that's impregnated with an LS VTEC setup, has a B16 gearbox. On E85, all motor right now. It's a nitrous car, lots of fun. That car's been here, I think last time it was 2016, and I was back for a retune, and we got some power out of it so far, compared to what he had at another dynamometer facility, which is good. Basin Castillo, all the way from Chile, thank you so much for joining as well, appreciate you. Bill Jambanta said the legend BC, love these live videos, thank you so much, and more to come. And for those of you who don't know why I do this, I'm originally from Nigeria, to hear from the weird accent. Came here to go to school to study everything about engineering that I can learn, especially on the chemical side. But as a hobby, I street race and did a lot of racing, but want to learn as much about cars as possible. Then you didn't have a Bisimoto to go to. I reached out to a lot of shops, went in there, talked to them. People just didn't want to help me. Only a few individuals, Nick Arias, John Consiati from AEM, actually took me under their wing and taught me a lot. And what I'm trying to do now is to be that person I needed when I was younger. So I'm here to answer any questions about my technology, what I've experienced, my racing, anything so we all can rise as a community and do great things. I just want to be that person I needed. Gillian Ross, hello sister, says hello BC. I hope everything is well with you. Yes, things are well. We are safe despite the fires. Just a bit of a dirty compound. It's been quite windy of recent as well, but it's good. Good. Family is safe and sound, so thanks for asking, sis. By day 30, hello. Love the live videos. Thank you so much. More to come. Dave639 from TikTok is asking, weren't you on Jay Leno's Garage, one of your cars? Dave, yes, I have. Not only one, but 7 episodes I've done with Jay. Great enthusiast. As far as cars of mine he's driven that's still in the arsenal, of course, the Bisimoto Odyssey, the Bisimoto Center Seat, the Porsche, the Bisimoto all-wheel drive sequential gearbox wagon van. He also drove the K3V, which is quite a bit of a beautiful touch for him as well. He drove the blue Porsche twin turbo IROC, which is quite great as well. He's driven quite a few of our cars. And upon this pink and gray EV that he drove, my first one ever, we talked about building a Rolls-Royce EV, which is now completed. Just need to tie up some loose ends as far as the interior and other accoutrements are concerned. And they'll be on his show, and we'll cover that. Something that came to be just based on discussion with him. Great guy indeed, you know? Alan Archer from TikTok is saying, been following you forever. Love all your hard work. Thank you so much. Appreciate you indeed. Tone Look also on TikTok is saying, been watching your videos since YouTube. Love your builds. Thank you so much. And the best is yet to come. And by the way, guys, even though I'm surrounded by some amazing builds and some great customers, I couldn't do any of this without my team. They are really the rock stars when it comes to everything Bisimoto. No man is an island, and I'm here to share that with you, that my team is what makes things happen. I have a great team. I'm very fortunate to have them in my company. Den Adrian, thank you so much for joining. Salute to you as well. MSPGY7 says, hey BC, I love cars and motorsports, but I'm not having enough fun in my major, so-called car system technology. How do I find my purpose? Well, that major you're studying now does give you a background to be able to do that. So just hang in there, finish your curriculum, and then the world is your oyster. Perfect example is myself. I study chemical engineering. Now I'm using a little bit more of that nowadays when I'm doing, dealing with battery technology. Above and beyond that, in my racing time, I was able to make my own fuel quite successfully until I got banned. But that gave me the strong basis to understand critical thinking and also problem solving, which has been amazing towards my hobby and career as well. So that being said, hang in there, learn what you need to learn, take that information, absorb it, think out of the box, don't get confined, and when you graduate, do whatever you desire. Want to start a speed shop? Volunteer right now. Start with sweeping the floor, help out at a local speed shop, whether it's a tuning facility, a place that sells parts, help out, get your feet wet. See if there's something you even like. Go out there, get your hands dirty, race, whether it's road racing, drag racing, whatever the case may be, wherever you are, explore that. It goes a long way to help you become successful, really learning and experiencing. And if you have any failure, which you will, look at it as a learning opportunity, not as a detriment, which is quite nice. So hopefully that helps. Promotion Zone on YouTube Live is saying, what time in your country? Right now it's 12:10 p.m. in Ontario, California. Hello, Warrior Fella, also on YouTube Live. Appreciate your presence. What are you working on today? Ask Gillen Ross, fellow lady enthusiast. Right there is a Honda CRX. Right now it's natural aspirated with an Edelbrock intake, factory bottom end, making close to 200 wheel horsepower on E85 on an AEM. It's a full track car on AEM Series 2. It's a nitrous vehicle which has potential of making way past 400. Just really fun vehicle with a B16 gearbox. I'm tuning it right now. I'm almost done tuning. I may do maybe 3 or 4 more runs to optimize. But right now, the owner swapped out plugs for me because we were doing a little bit of misfire with some really, really old plugs. He says it's been years since those are changed. So nonetheless, very clean plugs, very nice. It's going to be good. Big fan says Weesh on YouTube Live. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. You have much about cars, says Mad Burnout. Yes, this is what we learn. Whether you're looking at petrol vehicles, drag race, road race, whatever the case may be, exotic fuels, whether you're ethanol, methanol, whatever the case may be. I've built those and raced those as well. Hybrids. I did the first Honda performance hybrid project as far back as 2010 with American Honda for the CRZ. So I have a lot of technology and information there. Full EVs. This vehicle I'm wearing is my first, it's kind of a picturing or drawing of my original first electric EV, which I built as far back as 2018. And nowadays, it's just been a great bane for us because most cars I'm surrounded by here are EVs as well. So whatever the thing is, whether it's a gamut from carbureted, small displacement, inline 4 engines, natural aspiration, through twin turbo Porsches, through hybrid vehicles, all the way to full performance EVs, I'm here to help. I can answer your questions, anything you have at all. Thank you so much for the gifter badge as well, Dylan. You're number 2 one. Appreciate that indeed. What up, one of 5,000? Good seeing you, long time. Hopefully all is well with you. How much do you think the industry and hooligan has lost with Ken Block Gar, says Chuck09? I see quite a bit, especially in terms of entertainment. Ken Block was an amazing driver. Also helped significantly push the envelope when it came to making really performance cars very hip. And he's someone who I really looked up to quite a bit. We worked together, not only on some hooligan episodes, but also on the Need for Speed franchise as far back as 2015. We're all in the UK, and we filmed one where we're all there working together. You can see me in the video game if you play it. Myself, Ken Block, Magnus Walker, Nakai from RWB, quite a few individuals there, Larry Chen. It was just a really great opportunity, and he was really humble, nice guy. So I think the industry lost quite a bit. It just shows that life is short, enjoy as much as you can, and make things happen. Will anything you and the crew work on this year used in races other than car events such as Fun? Absolutely. You know, we never stopped racing. I just don't do the full gamut of a full series. We just haven't done that. But we just do a lot of testing, even last year at Irwindale. Shame on me for not posting a lot of things out there, only because I was doing a lot of EV performance and I got a lot of pushback for that. But I do need to post quite a few of those. About a week and a half ago, my good friend Carlos Alomar and I helped him with a turbocharged Corvette C6 build. And above and beyond that, I took out my Plaid as well. We went to the, don't call me crazy, 16th mile track out in Paris, California. So I never stopped racing at all. I just love it, have a lot of fun doing that. Did some racing, some drag racing, did some drifting. It was really a good day. It's just up to me to stop posting more, so I appreciate the sentiment, Warrior Fella, and you have my commitment that I'll show more. Let's see here. Opinion on the J35 says Owen Russell 817, one of the most underrated Honda engines. V6 performance, where they look at the newer ones with a single output head that I've used on my Odyssey, the small ones with the individual 3 runners on each bank for each head. So much opportunity. I love those engines. They're pretty cost effective. You can find crate ones really cheap. You can pull them from wrecking yards. They were in Odysseys. They were in Accords. Great power plants and the displacement to boot. Are there opportunities to improve there? Absolutely, especially with camshafts. And if you want to go crazy, you have to do some major modifications to the runners on the cam head because it's kind of a fixed bore you have to slide in. You have to bore those out to go much bigger in camshafts. People sleep on those engines. They are a lot of fun, a lot of potential. We made 1,000 horsepower on it. And stock engines, all day, all night, we can make 400, 450 thereabout. People road race with those. And road racing, I should road race. Off-road, I should say. They put them in buggies and stuff running a North Star engine or rotary or doing something with V8. Those are really cost-effective potential ones. You slap a turbo on, you have 400 horsepower all day, all night. You build them, upgrade the fuel system and intake system, you can make 4 figures. I like them a lot. So my opinion, Owen, they're amazing engines that people sleep on. Speak on H22, please, says Drummond D. I am very partial to H22s because the architecture is very similar to my very loved F22A engines. Very same bottom ends, interchangeable components. The one limitation on the H22 is the head itself, because the valve train doesn't allow for really aggressive camshafts. It just doesn't. The head flows very nicely, but the architecture in terms of how it's designed to be able to clear the hood of a Prelude or a Accord or wherever those engines came into, forced engineers to kind of give a slight, in my opinion, compromise with the valve train. So is there a lot of potential? Yes, especially if you're boosting it. For full all-motor power, I would choose the F22A head over the H22 for full all-motor power. If you want to do boost and you're force-inducing, H22 can get away with some decent, like Bisimoto level 3, level X camshafts, or even VTEC killers and have some fun. I like them a lot. Those people sleep on as well, very big potential. These guys with the CRX also have a Civic that started with a blue top, kind of H23. On a stock setup, they made 100 or 500 wheel horsepower. And when they boosted it properly with a built engine, they made north of 300 horsepower more, which is great. And just fuel limited, right? So a lot of potential, very good engine. I like them a lot. Let's see here. Liking ATL says, do you think now Trump is in office, it will mess up EV sales, etc. here in the US now? I was on the fence initially. I thought that with the new administration, as they're going through the ranks of promoting, as they're going to, how should I say, debates and so on and so forth, I had big concern for the EV market, especially I have a vested interest in the EV performance market. So I thought it'd be a challenge until I saw that he became very close friends with Elon Musk. And Elon is a huge advocate, of course, for all things EV, especially in terms of propulsion and performance. So that being said, I don't see much of concern. I see the new administration as one that wants to make sure that things are okay with him and his family financially. And being friends with one of the most wealthiest people on the planet, and that person having some really big influence on them, I don't see any challenges at all. If I see any sales of EVs slowing down at all, it will have to come from the consumer front, which luckily all the OEMs continue to build pretty nice EVs. Today, I drove a Honda Prologue. It's Honda's first EV, even though it's in a partnership with another brand. That EV has sold amazing. It's now the third fastest selling EV in the country. So there's opportunity. I see a world where there's just variety everywhere. I'm not big on mandates at all. So as much as I love EV performance, and don't get me wrong, it's not a political thing for me. I love EVs because it's freaking fast. I cannot, and I've said this so many times, I cannot build for the price of my Plaid outside. I have a parachuted Model S Tesla Plaid outside. I cannot build a street legal 1,000 horsepower car that runs low 9s to high 8s on petrol. It's just not financially feasible. I can do it, but it'd be very expensive. It's cheaper for me to even buy that vehicle. And to run that kind of those low 9s, high 8s on street tires is ridiculous. And then drive to the track, AC and everything, race and drive home. No trailers, and no emissions issues. So I love that, right? On the same token, I do love shooting flames. I do love twin turbos. I love the smell of ethanol when it's burning. I just love all things, but I just want to go fast. So I'm a huge advocate of any technologies for propulsion as long as it makes us go fast. So all across the board, you'll see me just because I love the zero emissions opportunity with EVs. I love that. I love ethanol burning race cars as well because it's much cleaner and renewable fuels. I'm not a huge advocate of digging out from the ground non-renewable crude oil, spending resources in, how should I say, distilling them, and then after separation, transporting them. I'm not a big, and then the engine is not that efficient. Guys, I could keep going on and on and on. But long story short, I love them all, and I don't see the new administration hurting things. If anything, don't be surprised if it helps you. The only one thing I see Trump is going to be a stickler for, especially since Elon is his good friend, is they're not going to allow Chinese brands to come into the country easily. And if they do, the tariffs will be out of control. Because right now, China is really leading the charge when it comes to everything EV. There are mandates there, and they're embracing quite nicely, but they are miles ahead of us in terms of technology, especially when you look at software-defined vehicles. They are really, really there. Will anything you and your crew work on? Okay, I think of that. Did the fire affect you as RSA Dynamics? Not directly. I didn't lose my home. We didn't lose the shop, but it was very ashy. Even the floor here, look how dusty it is. We have like just a lot of just dust and rubbish everywhere and soot. My pool at my house was completely black with leaves. It was just crazy, but it didn't affect us directly to where we had some kind of fire detriment to us directly, no? Lambda Menace has a great question. Pros and cons of GDI, which is gas direct injection, for daily driving versus racing in comparison to other engine types. Well, here are some of the pros. Let's start with the pros of CDI for daily driving and also racing. Pros, better economy. You're now injecting directly in the combustion chamber. You don't lose a ton of efficiency by going through the port. You're not getting some energy absorbed by the back of the valve head. It's absolutely fantastic. You can run boosted, high boost, as lean as 13-to-1. Dare I say, I've seen studies in race tech where people did 14-0-to-1 AFRs in full boost. Unheard of in port racing, in port injection. You would definitely melt stuff. But you can do that with direct injection. So you can get away with better mixtures. It's a lot more economical. Absolutely amazing control. Beautiful. Now, what are some of the cons of CDI versus MPI or multi-port injection? Some of the cons is, one, keeping the intake valves clean. The added benefit of having injectors behind the valve in the port, is that it does a double duty of keeping those valves clean. After a while, whether you're racing or driving daily especially, you can get a lot of gunk building up. It hurts efficiency because now your valve head doesn't flow very properly. And it can cause a bit of a detriment, adding a lot of weight to the valve train, having challenges, making challenges exist, especially with the valve springs themselves, because it now has additional weight it has to deal with. And then with flow, you're having efficiency and getting really bad in terms of, let's say, the economy earlier. It's not good at all. And then when it comes to modifications, with port injection, you can just easily upgrade to 2200 cc, 3000 cc injectors. You can just change injectors and then you can have a powerful power plant as long as you have accessories that support that power. However, with direct injection, because of that high pressure pump, those pumps that can go anywhere from 800 to 3000 PSI, you can't easily find replaceable injectors to make a lot of power. That's why Lambda Menace, as you may recall, when I built that 1000 horsepower V6 Lambda engine for Hyundai, it was GDI. For sake of ease, I removed the plugged up, the direct injection, and introduced port injection into the intake manifold to go with 2200 cc injectors, and I was able to make big power. So that being said, those are the pros and cons based on my experience of GDI versus multi-point. And it transfers for both the racing and street activity as well. So I hope that helps. Did it affect you? Did the fire affect you since RC Dynamics? Shared earlier? No, it did not directly, but I appreciate that indeed. Sean82, thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate seeing you here. Hello, Bastian Castillo. I appreciate the interaction today. MSPGY, thanks a lot. B, stop by the shop once it's finished. That's a promise. My pleasure indeed. I hope you can join us for Hot Rod and Halos in March. Jelen, share some details. You know I love to get out there and do some great stuff. Kyle Simmons, 266, here on TikTok is asking shop location. We're in the center of the universe, Ontario, California. So thank you so much for asking. Gabby Rodriguez, thank you so much. Can you have both port and direct injection? Says, really, but why? Yes. As a matter of fact, you remember that Toy Baru setup that most of us see on the major roadways? And when we say Toy Baru, is that project or projects that was a combination between Toyota and Subaru. You know, the BRZ, FRS, those both have port and direct injection, which gives us the best of both worlds, right? You have the ability to have direct injection to allow for those very nice economy opportunities and being able to run, make sure you're leaner and to stratify and optimize better and make more power. And then on the port injection front, you can keep that back of the valve clean. And for us tuners, you can just easily update the port injection itself and be able to do that. For aftermarket, you can do something similar. You can keep the direct injection going and add port and have a controller for that to have a lot of fun. But the BRZ FRS is one very commonplace setup that has that out of factory period, which is pretty good. So thank you for answering that question. Appreciate you indeed. All right, let's see. I see EF problems in the background, says ITB Kevin. Kevin, luckily, this is Eric, you know, the twin. That's one of his CRXs. And it's actually doing quite well. It has one of your favorite engines, ITB Kevin. And by the way, Kevin, good friend who started as a customer, used to come here with some really amazing projects. If you see a dark black four-door EF, leave it alone. Leave it alone. he had some heat in there. So Kevin, just like in your normal fashion, you'll love this. This is an LS VTEC setup with direct port injection nitrous, which is pretty cool, right? So that being said, so far it's getting close to 200 wheel horsepower. It's doing quite well. Had a little bit of misfire from plugs that have been there for years. We just swapped plugs, and when I'm done with you guys, I would definitely continue my excursion and finishing tuning that, and I will post our results very soon. Customer allowing me to do, of course. Yeah. Let's see. Ken's cars at Huntington were built by some of my favorite builders ever. Chucks095 says, yes, those vehicles are quite nice indeed, you know. Rest in peace, Huntington has struggled. Ken was awesome, says Roland Kitchens. I concur, brother. It's such a loss to our industry, you know. Aishin Campbell says, hey, funny story. I found someone online who's going to try my idea using nitromethane while spraying NOS. I guess I can learn from his mistakes if he posts them. Yes. Nitromethane, we were just talking about that earlier, can be a great fuel, but it's very hard to control, and ignition is quite paramount to make that happen. And I think that'd be great. Spraying nitrous on that is a lot going on. You're introducing a chemical supercharger on top of a mixture of a fuel that is not very easy to control. Yeah, let's see what happens. Keep me posted as well. I am very, very curious. Eric and I, the owner of that car, actually joked, how crazy would my car have run that we ran 9.2 officially? How crazy would that have been if we were running nitromethane instead of regular ethanol all the time? That'd be really cool, right? What's the best way, says Ars Dynamics on YouTube, to limit the cam angle on a cam gear to 45 degrees? Is there a shim you can buy? I saw someone use a drill bit and correct diameter down to limit the angle to 45 degrees. Yes, a physical lock is the way to do it. If you don't want to do it digitally and you're afraid you could have a runaway situation where a cam angle advances so rapidly, you can physically drill and put in a bit or a plug to limit it, and you'd be good to go. Despite that, I still don't rely on those significantly. It's a good fail-safe in case you have a runaway VVC setup, but nonetheless, yes, that is the good way of doing it, sir. Nothing wrong with using some kind of pin or plug after drilling to limit physically. Do you do truck days with any car clubs in California? It says G Jacobs 24. I used to do a lot with POC, but it's kind of difficult to go to all their meets with me trying to run a business or a couple businesses, so it's been kind of difficult. But whenever there is any kind of truck time that I can explore, I try and make it out there by all means. But thanks for asking. Ted A. Rookspin says, hey BC, I'm back in the Honda game. Welcome back, by the way. After my CB7 days, I picked up an AP2 S2000, great choice. By the way, guys, if you know what the AP2 is, it is the Honda S2000 with an F22 engine, F22C, 2.2 liter. Doesn't rev as 9,000 high as the other ones, but is a torquey monster. Says amazing gearbox, and if you tune it, even factory, has amazing potential. Do you prefer a turbocharged setup on S2K? Asked Ted E. Rupkin. It depends on your goals. So turbocharging allows for this amazing flexibility and power. You can go anywhere from 300 horsepower up to 700 horsepower, use the same turbo and everything will look the same. However, what I do like about the supercharged applications for S2000 is that they feel like a big all-motor setup. So if you like that very responsive, non-laggy setup, supercharging is the way to go. Sounds great, feels like a big, natural aspirated setup, and there's so many great kits out there. There's just, I would say Jackson Racing made a kit not too long ago that was really good. They use a Road Track supercharger. Those are out there as well. The guys from, I'm trying to remember the name, Paxton, also have a few kits out there as well. There's so many opportunities that you can do well. But if you want the flexibility, like boost per gear, boost per speed, which you cannot do easily with supercharged setup, what you get, that direct correlation of RPM and power exists in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth gear, whatever the case may be. While with turbocharging, you have the flexibility of being able to have low boost in first gear, second gear, low speed, and you can easily ramp it up. The one thing is that very few kits in the S2K community have great heat management. And when I say kits, I mean turbocharging kits. Because your exhaust manifold can be close to your fuse box, you may have to relocate it. Some people who have not relocated have had some engine fires, which is quite sad, right? That's not a problem at all with supercharging setup. There's no crazy, it looks like a natural aspirated setup with a header and everything, which is superchargers. So you have some pros and cons. Your driving style and desire will dictate what's best indeed. This guy built my Integra, says USR 8914. Thank you so much for joining Bisimoto Tech Tuesday. Appreciate you indeed. Gillen Russ says, my break is over. Good seeing you, brother. Have a wonderful day. Good seeing you as well. Gillen, enjoy your afternoon. I'm going to have to jump on the dyno soon anyway, so thank you so much. Ruben S2K. Speaking of boosted S2K, Ruben is a hardcore enthusiast who has a boosted S2000, if not a few. Also is a bit of a rotary enthusiast as well. So he's all about the wankles with his 12As, 13Bs, 20Bs. He's all about it, you know? Good seeing you, Ruben. I think the last time I saw you physically was in Compton at the Motor Trends Super Street All Out After Dark, which is pretty good. So good seeing you as well, and hopefully you are doing well. Grammy D says, thank you. My pleasure indeed. That's why I am here. My pleasure, RSR Dynamics asked me a question about how to limit the cam control on certain engines. Okay, and I assume you mean K, because those are the ones that people tend to do quite a bit with. BC doesn't like glass now. He's a battery guy now, says ITB Kevin, which, by the way, Kevin, as close as a friend he is to me, and he takes me shooting and all that fun stuff, is kind of a bit misleading now. I just mentioned earlier on in our interaction that I love everything, as long as we go fast, right? One of the reasons why I do like EV performance, and by the way, not those boring EVs or those Model 3 appliance type stuff or using like forklift motors. I like cool, fast stuff, like the Mobi I posted yesterday, like this. Lots of fun, kind carving, going out there, having a blast. I just like it all. I also still like the M16. I still like my wagon. I still like the Center C twin turbo. I still like the CRX that's here on the dyno. Still talking about getting my Insight back out there again. I love it all. As long as it can go fast and have fun, I'm all about it. Safely and responsibly, right? All right. 92 Accord, stock motor, looking for a rebuild. Decent mods, what do you recommend? Sean 82, I have the perfect setup for your Accord. And this is also budget dependent. So we'll start from the not so expensive to a little bit more lack of cost effective, okay? So starting up, the easiest thing to do after your rebuilds, intake, header, exhaust. That does a great job in really doing some amazing things with the power of that setup. One thing Accord lack, and that's a problem that a lot of people tend to sleep on the Accord engines, is the camshafts are very small from factory. You put a Bisimoto level 2 Level 3 camshaft, that thing wakes up and you look like a hero. If you have the budget to go up to compression, we have a variety of compression opportunities for that setup as well. We have long rod combo setups that allow for better rod ratio in the not so great rod ratio setups in the Accord engines. And by having a longer rod, you have the opportunity to have less side loading, release more power, have a lot more efficiency, just amazing stuff as well. And if your budget allows, boosting Accord motors are the bane. You would destroy so many people in your wake. People wouldn't know what hit them. Those things, you know what's cool? Accord engines, especially the earlier non-VTEC ones, stock, the heads flow more than some of these ported. So those are great engines. That's what you do, from the not so expensive intake header exhaust and Bisimoto camshaft and cam gears and tuning, all the way to full turbocharging after you upgrade the pistons, rods, and even sleeve it. You can have a blast indeed. You can make anything from 200 horsepower wheel to 1,000. You can have a lot of fun. Love those engines indeed. BC taking interns, asking for a friend. Yes, we do. Write to us at sales@bisimoto.com, and you never know. We can make some things happen. Why is it taking so long for cost-effective GDI standalone ECU options to come out? DRK, Koopa, only because of demand. It's easier to go port injection and support those markets because they're quite ubiquitous. Above and beyond that, as I mentioned earlier on, there are not many performance GDI upgrades. Even Honda does a lot for the Type R Hondas. They have injector upgrades, but not enough to do crazy stuff. Now, rumor has that 4-piston, Luke and his team did some amazing things with even finding bigger injectors to allow for even more power, getting close to 4 digits. But nonetheless, the most reason is because there's no support. Now, Motec does control. So if you have the budget to do it, Motec does control a lot of GDI stuff. So that being said, there may be an opportunity there indeed, What's the most power you've made with an F22 turbo or any big block F-Series single cam? Now, I haven't built any turbos myself. Client-wise, we've done 800 wheel on the dyno here with a client, but it was my own setup, which it's not difficult to eclipse 4 digits with that. Natural aspirated, we did 459 to the wheels. Natural aspirated using renewable fuels. Imagine if we did what people are doing nowadays with using nitro. That'd be crazy, right? Can we do 500, 600, 700 horsepower with F22A? Maybe we'll find out sooner than later. Who knows? All right, guys, it's been a slice of heaven. As much as I've enjoyed all of you, thank you for claiming, sharing that we're legends. Appreciate that indeed. But I do have to get back to tuning this lovely CRX. I promise to put some videos up fairly soon, client allowing. But please stay safe out there, guys. Thank you so much for joining me and all your support all these years. Look forward to interacting with all of you out there in the community. In the meantime, take care, and hopefully we get to interact next week, Tuesday. Have a pleasant one, guys. Take care. Cheers. Bye-bye.